Let's be honest, I mean, Showtime is in a class of his own at the moment in terms of Protoss. In the German scene, he is the previous champion, having beaten out Marine in the last finals of the Meisterschaft.
Yep.
So he's pretty good.
Showtime is a beast, and I'd be expecting him to open up and play exactly the same in terms of just overall strategy as Trantius. Everything would just, I'm imagining, would be a bit more refined. So the Phoenix play, for example, you know, how fast he goes up to Immortals, what he does with his Adepts, and so on. So that's the interesting thing I'll be looking at.
And he's one of those guys that when he gets to the... I say when I watch him against Zergs in the mid-game, he does similarly timed Zealot drops to people like Teat Drogo against these kind of Zergs, where they do get in and they do cause chaos. So HaNfy's going to have to be careful.
Showtime is not a timing style of Protoss. He doesn't like to attack very often.
Yeah.
He's very defensive overall, and is just very, very good at harassing you while expanding and playing defensive. And then when he sees, like, okay, if I fight, I'm probably going to win, that's the time he does it.
Yeah. He's the reincarnation of HaSuobs, basically, for
he
Germany.
plays very similar style in this matchup.
Yeah.
Sometimes he obviously can throw in an attacking strategy, but it's very unlikely.
Actually, now that I say that, did you know that Hasu's team came top 2 over in the Heroes Tournament?
I did see him in his Mind Sanity shirt.
Yeah. It's so weird seeing him in anything other than red.
Yeah.
Like, from Mouse Sports, since he was in there for like 10 plus years or so, but... Oh well, yep, he qualified for Korea, so good for Hasu. A EPS multiple-time champion.
Alright, so an Adept is being chrono boosted out for Showtime. I mean, imagine that's just going to be for a scouting Adept more than anything else. Maybe a drone or two if there's a couple of corners cut by HaNfy.
Two more little Zerglings going to go on out to the field and see if they can find that probe first and foremost, and then afterwards have a little poke around themselves. It's always important to keep an eye on this little probe, but the Stargate's on the way, almost in exactly the same place, because it's the best place you can put it against Overlords, really.
Yeah. So yeah, Adept's on its way, Stargate placed down. I wonder if HaNfy's going to go for those Zerglings that he built against Trantius. Built like 16 or so.
I wonder if he felt like he could get away with them easily against someone like Tarantius, but against Showtime, it's going to be a bit more difficult. I wonder if he does still do it. You're right.
He started 4. That might be just to keep the Adept away from easily running in. But the Adept moves out to save the probes. The probe can return home. And is already setting up his position to build that Nexus. So far, he is following in the way. As mentioned, Tarantius did play a very normal game and strategy. Very similar to how all Protoss play in this matchup.
Yeah, so much so that even the positioning down to the buildings is normal on this map. So HaNfy comes in, has a look around, sees the Stargate, and is like, oh, okay. But the difference here is that Showtime might actually cut corners and get his Nexus down before any extra gateways are appearing.
Yeah. And additional links have been made, so same style. This time, like I mentioned, the goal was always to try to bring the Nexus down. It's very difficult. You're never going to run past an Adept in a wall. Especially because Warp Gate research is done, and there also is Photon Overcharge if it need be. So the goal is just to build enough that you can kill the Nexus. If you kill this Nexus, you push the Protoss quite far behind, because it's like a 50% complete Nexus. But this is a risky thing to do unless you really overcommit to it.
21 Zerglings out in the field at the moment, with 4 more on the way.
Yeah. Notice how there's no pylons next to the Nexus, so it's not as easy to defend.
Yeah.
And I think that's one big difference compared to Trantius and Showtime. No pylons there.
A potentially greedy build here for Showtime. Might get punished for it. The Photon Overcharge has gone down on one of these pylons, but these Zerglings have got the full wrap on this Nexus, and I think it might go down here.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job for HaNfy.
Might even put on some more pressure here. Showtime might have been a bit more greedy and bitten off more than he can chew, but for now, he has to fall back to extra gateways, and that has slowed him down significantly.
Yeah, I would say that a pylon not being next to the Nexus to have a Photon Overcharge there was the biggest mistake. But yeah, that was good for HaNfy, and he got what he needed. As mentioned, he's pushed himself quite far ahead.
And the thing is that actually, now that I think about it, another pylon there wouldn't have been out of the realms of possibility because of the initial attack from the Zerglings that came along. He was just trying to cut so many corners there with not being... he didn't need it because he didn't need the supply block relief. But other than that, that was greedy.
Supply block from HaNfy. No Overlords on the way.
That's the counter damage coming out.
4 Overlords at once.
much.
So as much as he had it and loses the Phoenix, that's pretty good, I suppose. But yeah, as much as HaNfy got the Nexus down, that supply block almost nullifies the Nexus being killed, to be fair.
Those Phoenix almost picked up that drone to stop it from actually planting down that 4th hatchery, but there's nothing more that those Phoenix can do about that. Zergling's going to run in, have a look around, and be like, no, that's too many pylons.
Even some lava injects missing and stuff. HaNfy falling apart with some fundamentals there.
How many queens did he have? Oh, 7. Okay, so it wasn't like he brought all of them to the front to deal with it. He still had some on hatcheries. All right, so Twilight Council, double Robo, +1 weapons. Twilight Council almost guaranteed to just, for the moment, to be for the +2 to start up, but then, of course, he can transition over towards those beautiful, beautiful Archons. Hydra Den's going down in exactly the same place. I wonder if he tries to sneak out a Spire again and do a similar build.
He might do. He might do. But double Robo, Warp Prism first.
Warp Prism first is quite interesting. I guess he wants to limit the amount of... Would a Zerg from this point go anywhere beyond... Oh, I was going to say anywhere beyond 64 drones, but he's actually got an 8 more on the way.
The thing is if you don't get the... If you want to get the Warp Prism first, you're just saying to yourself that he's not going to attack me right now. So I might as well just use this Robotics Facility for something else. And with the Phoenixes still being alive, seeing no units, by the way, he's like, he's not going to attack me because he hasn't got anything. So it's fine to squeeze out the Warp Prism now and then go over to the Immortals. And
having the Warp Prism even earlier, doesn't that just provide you ample time for extra aggression early on, which could then potentially slow him down later anyway?
Yeah.
So there's all these knock-on effects that are very, very cool here, and showing just how Showtime can read into these things. Does lose another Phoenix, though, there.
Yeah, Phoenix has not been the best in this game at all. They've done okay, but not to what I expect from Showtime.
That's a bit sad here for HaNfy down towards the bottom right. He's just barely out of vision range of where Showtime's set up to warp in some units.
And that Showtime style here, like I mentioned, just use the Warp Prism well. Defending, expanding.
Plenty of gateways on the way, extra 5 in total, considering what he's already at. So I think he's going up to about 8 or 9 now.
But it is pure Link Hydra again, just for now. Straight to the Hydra range.
The only difference really at the moment is no Spire.
No Spire. Nope. It's a lot of Hydras.
How many are we at now? 17, 12 more on the way. The assault that he could actually put on with that kind of numbers is pretty strong.
Yeah, Protoss Army's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Definitely not ready for a fight.
Does that all stem back to the 3rd being as slowed down as it was?
Yeah. But remember, with the more you put into Hydras, usually most Zergs have the Lurker Den on the way by now, or and so on. But he's fully committed to pure Hydras in the range. There's no Roaches in the mix.
So he needs to keep this Zerg army back for a little while. So the answer is going to be the Warp Prism, right?
Which is here. And there goes the Hydras back. And every second that goes by, Protoss gets stronger and stronger, and we'll be able to deal with this high Hydra count eventually.
Yeah. So he splits off a few Hydras just to deal with those Zealots to start off, picks them back up. They're going to go out for a while. And now, it must twig in HaNfy's mind as to, of course, he is trying to put on some of this aggression, but he needs to start shutting down the Protoss soon, surely.
Yeah, the Hydras are becoming weaker, but I guess that's what the Lurker Den is for. You can just morph them to Lurkers, and then they're still okay. But pure Hydra at the moment is obviously not very good, or not as good anymore, just because Protoss Army's become too big, too strong.
One Overseer with this at the moment, which against the Dark Templar, or Dark Shrine, that is on the way at the moment. You have to be kind of careful about. There's actually quite a lot of Immortals there. I didn't even realize how many there were. This is still, it's gained a lot of momentum as this army, and he's going to walk out, deny some of these creep tumors at least, and then see that army and probably back away for a moment. Yeah, and then get the Warp Prism into a better position. Always the Showtime way. Already, I like the perimeter defenses that we're seeing from HaNfy. He's positioned his Overlords in a way so that he would spot where the Warp Prism is at any time. So now the question becomes, how many Lurkers does he make, and how is Showtime going to deal with it? He can try the steamroll approach, which is at the moment the position he's in, or he could start to move his tech even higher up. But 14 Lurkers. That's a lot of firepower, even a 15th for good measure. Why not? Yeah. Everyone loves the Lurker. Well, apart from Protoss. Apart from Protoss, yeah. I've had a few games where I just end up running into a lot of Lurkers. I'm like, well, it takes too much effort to break through this. I wish I'd have just killed him earlier on and you give up. It's the mentality of a lot of Protoss players. Timing before the Lurkers, or
I'm in trouble.
Yep.
There's 20 lurkers.
Oh my god. Well, don't want to walk that far forward, my friend, for a moment. Everything needs to be coordinated for the Zerg, though. He did walk quite far forwards with his Hydralisks there for a little bit. Of course, the Protoss army was backing off, but some of them will die at the front. And he also got the cancellation on the fifth base, I should say.
Showtime's got to play this smart here. There's too many lurkers to ever dream of fighting. And if he does, he's a brave, brave man. With
his fourth base not really being hit, I mean, Showtime's and the fact that he's got his fleet beacon now up and running with Tempest, is he in an okay position here? Because Zerg is still limited to 4 base.
He's fine. He's fine. As long as he doesn't fight this head on.
That is a lot of lurker.
He's got a Dark Shrine finish too, so that Warp Prism could get some DTs around the back.
Yeah.
Which could always be a nuisance. But yeah, he just can't fight the lurkers yet until he has Tempest out and so on. And actually DTs into the mix is interesting. There is no overseas. Oh no, there is at the front. 2
at the front, but he could, I think, blow those up if he actually turned around. He's actually going to try and flank in here. This is kind of interesting. The DTs, if they're with the army, will die to splash damage from the lurkers. He can't do that.
Showtime's in a bit of a weird position because his army's split up.
Yeah.
It's never ideal.
So he's going to come in now, and again, the Dark Templars do take damage when they get hit by the Zealots as well. One odd little spot he's in.
Yeah, lurkers are coming in.
Are you sure he didn't mean to split them off from
I don't. I wasn't. I was looking actually at the Dark Templar detection and stuff in the main base. I am pretty sure you wouldn't want your army split up in 50-50 like this.
Yeah, Dark Templars have gone down to all of that. There was Overseers there. There's only one more left, and it might end up dying pretty quickly itself. He actually killed off a lot of the lurkers on the left-hand side, though.
You can always fight the Hydralisks. That's fine. Like I said, they're not that good by themselves, but it's when the lurkers are fighting you're in trouble.
These weird little attempts at
nice
flanks.
Little tag. Nice tag so we can get the Tempest in the way.
Yeah.
But now you've pulled the Zerg army all this way left. There's definitely a time to use that Warp Prism again, but I think it died, did it? Yeah, it's not around anymore, so you want to be building another one and attacking around this right-hand side again. But remember, you can always, in Legacy of the Void, it's about starving your opponent a little bit more too. So the main base is already mined out. Zerg must take a 5th soon.
I can only imagine that the Warp Prism was caught up by the Hydralisks, because anything more, and maybe it was a misclick from Showtime overall. But it's important to have the Warp Prism with this.
There's not too much really that can get to the Tempests, so this is something that's a problem that HaNfy has to solve. He's going up towards the Hive, so perhaps we'll see some Vipers come in that he could pull them away, or, you know, does he want to start... I don't know actually what else he could do. I mean, he could go Corruptors, but I think that's... not such a good idea.
Only if he was to come in from like a 360 angle of, because otherwise the Archons are just going to rip through numbers.
Yeah, pulling the Vipers out is probably the best idea. Use the Hydras.
Showtime did a great job of bringing down those lurker numbers when all of that was divided. He was very clever about his movements, considering he himself was divided for a while.
I think 5 Oval is just morphed to pick up units here.
Oh, whereabouts?
They're coming towards the Hydros army in the middle.
Link's going to go for a counter-attack on towards the 5th, and actually that still take a little while for the warp in, so he's getting some rope kills here.
Yeah. Good job, nice little run around by HaNfy, and he is starting to get his 5th up. Surprised there's been no rebuilding of that Warp Prism.
And Impulse Crystals as well here for Showtime, so he's feeling like a lot of room here to, just in case there was some relative Spire switch up, he would have some of the tools available at least. Oh, there was a load up.
Vipers are on their way. And there is High Templar with Storm now to get on top of the Hydralis again.
Yeah. Army quality for Showtime is building up quite significantly.
Yeah. He's really scaled his army well through the tech tree. But yeah, these long-distance Tempest shots being a pain in the backside. Just, like I said, he has to pull them out, but there's feedbacks available, remember?
Yeah, this is looking really, really difficult for HaNfy now.
Like, and he's been pushed back so far that this 5th base has naturally been opened up.
Just separate a few Zealots off.
You slide a couple of DTs right from here while holding his position. And
grab some Archons forwards. They're going to die very quickly, but still, it's a very, very slow dance here. I mean, one of those, I believe, is tagged in those Vipers, so if they go a little bit closer, they can start getting shot at.
Yep.
And now, not so much, though, so that's okay. This is still a strong army, though. The Vipers made a whole world of difference. He's pulled towards some of those Tempests. The Storms are doing a lot of damage to those Hydras. They cannot tank for themselves at all. Didn't split any units off towards these bases, but they're not really mining at the moment. They're kind of dead weight for a little bit.
And he's coming around just to pick it off. Fair enough. That's one way to deal with it. Just send your whole army.
One of the later upgrades to Blink I've seen in this matchup for a long time.
Just want to pick it off and get out. It's getting a bit risky with the Lurkers.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Run away.
Yeah, that's a nice little pick off, and that's just starving the Zerg a little bit more. Now's probably breathing time to go take his 5th base, I would guess.
Oof, those storms. That's a
Sick
lot.
base.
Yeah, he actually tried to send off some zealots towards it, right? So he's actually killing off all the drones there that migrated over. And now he's even killing off all of these structures that were anticipated to be put up, but there's no more gas actually here for HaNfy. He's kind of starved down in that regard, and he's actually pushing through this on towards the Lurkers. The shields are actually being able to soak up tons of damage.
He wore him down enough. Well played by Showtime.
GG.
Wow.
That was a great bust.
Yeah. He said he just wore him down until he could take the fight. Eventually, there was very few Hydras left, and he just walked over him. That's very good from Showtime.
Spawning up to the top right, it will be Showtime. And up to the top left, we have Mr. HaNfy. So, let's get our scoreboard in order. There we go. So let's see how this is going to play on out.
Gosh, probe's going to go right over there, isn't it? That's so
No.
tilting for HaNfy.
Yeah, that is a bit of a
Right.
shame for him.
It's just... It's going to block the hatchery first. It's going to come and see what everything's up to. Luckily, he hasn't chosen to be aggressive, because that would have just been super annoying. Oh, we're actually going to see a cannon rush from Showtime.
Oh, he brought the second probe over?
No, Gateway.
Oh,
I really thought he was going to cannon rush for a second. I was like, what?
That would be like the ultimate kind of gamble. Like, I bet now he goes over, he's like, oh, I could have thrown down that forge.
He could have, yeah. It's hatchery first.
That's a funny one.
At least HaNfy got the hatchery first down. You're usually not expecting to get that down.
Yeah.
Nice hatch gas pull for him.
I mean, it could have been blocked, right? The probe came
Yeah,
across the drone at a similar time. He
Yeah.
just didn't expect him scouting first. I suppose I wasn't paying attention.
There could be a couple. I mean, if Roddy was playing right now, what you'd see is Crown Burst into the gateway.
Uh-huh.
And he'd be going over there with a couple of units. But Showtime is just, he'll stick to his guns. Nexus will come down, he'll play out a normal game. But there could be, in these positions, I suppose now, it has increased the possibility that a roach attack could come in these positions compared to the others.
I'm going to put this probe on follow for a minute. Actually, no, I'll put the scouting probe on follow for a minute so I can do something over here. Okay, change the title of the broadcast. That would help.
All right, so we're just following a probe on patrol move. So sick.
Sorry. Oh, it is on just some patrol move. I'm sorry, man.
It's okay. All right, so
hopefully that updates. Do I just click this actualize?
Yeah.
There we go. Hopefully that sorts it.
all right, so he was not mining gas while the probe was there after circling speed was researched. Then he did go into gas.
Ah,
so
okay.
HaNfy is looking like he could do something similar like he did before versus Trantius.
All right, so selling an image to Showtime here at the moment.
Yeah.
Stargate's going to go at the front, and how vulnerable can a wall like this really be? I mean, there's...
That's the thing. You're first of all fighting uphill.
Yeah.
There's 2 pylons in very good positions. It could easily be a third. Showtime has scouted the 3rd hatchery going down, but has not gone inside the main base at all. There's been no full commitment yet from HaNfy, but I'm expecting it to happen.
Where's our Roach Warren going to be?
That's the big question now.
Shade's going to go in.
Ling's already in. Yeah, this is a big difference between Trantius and Showtime. Is Showtime scouting with this? Well, you say that, but he's actually gone for drones. But one thing he notices, there's not that many drones at the front. That is a little funky, a little weird, but there's the Roach Warren. So he's going to do the same.
Kind of in plain sight, really, if he were actually to go into the main with a Phantom, or Shade, I should say.
So just 1 Phoenix now being made.
Oh, he did lose that Adept, though, so he will have no information.
Only the Phoenix could see it.
All right.
Additional pylons are very easy to make in this. You just put them behind the gateways, but it depends on how fast the Phoenix sees this coming.
Looking to just go on around for a moment here. So the Lings are going to pressure at the front.
Let's just have a look. Same double pylon here. Phoenix production is probably a good thing to see.
Yeah, I guess so. Very much so, in fact. I mean, it's not going to provide too much extra damage against those roaches unless you actually want to start lifting them up.
Yeah.
9 roaches in production, so it is just a, well, a slightly slower.
Another pylon has been made here. Cautious positioning from Showtime, but
it's covering all of those gates on the right-hand side with more than just the one pylon. It's quite important.
Yeah.
Just in case some Ravagers were to come up there and start nuking down that pylon. No reinforcements off just one pylon covering those.
Phoenix now are going to see it. So this is the heads up that Showtime will get. He's like, oh god, all right, fair enough.
Dun, dun, dun.
So immediately a sentry, 2 stalkers, and more pylons, I'm going to guess, right?
Should be.
Pylons are the defense.
Full wall in, completes that and pulls the units back. Starts
Already
working
pick
on
up some units. Yeah, get back to put a phone overcharge on, mate.
Uses the one towards the back, knowing it's harder to kill that pylon than the one that's being assaulted at the moment. And
So,
completes the wall off as well with another pylon. Very good. Oh! Tries to throw down that force field in the middle. Lots more pylons getting thrown up towards that top location. And actually, he's defending this pretty well so far.
2 more sentries coming in as well.
Just stop those roaches from flooding on forwards. Another force field locks them off. They're all going to die.
I think this is a very, very good hold.
Yeah, especially with those extra force fields. The extra 2 sentries were so important.
That's how you hold it, everyone.
Jeez.
Drone production has begun, but that was brilliant. Fair play for Showtime. Saw it quite last minute too, but everything was right.
It's funny, you say drone production begins, and it's like 45 workers to 20-some at the moment. It's brutal. Such good control there by Showtime. Really good crisis management.
Yeah, and now counter harass. I mean,
he has no spores.
The game is over.
Oh.
I was going to say. GG. Very well done by Showtime. Takes the series 2-0. Advances to the semi-finals.
Very good control there.